Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. We've got a free game that Humble is offering to you guys, so you'll definitely want to take advantage of that. Also want to take a look at a couple of great PC game deals that are available right now. Steam is running a great Spike Chunsoft sale, as well as Fanatical Star deal right now is quite good. So I want to take a look at both of those. We've got some details on Battlefield 5 and its pre-order numbers looking rather weak, and it might be falling victim to the same thing that Titanfall 2 did all those years ago. When I say all those years ago, what? It's only been 2 years, it hasn't been that long. And Mount Blade 2 Banner Lord, yes, this game that has been in development for so long, we are gonna finally get some more information at Gamescom. Along with that, there will be a single player demo, so I want to take a look at their dev blog post as well at the end of this video. First, let's look at the free game. You can get a free copy of Orwell over at the Humble store. This looks like a pretty interesting game. I personally haven't played it, but its full title is called Orwell Keeping an Eye on You. And here's the description, and it looks like a pretty trippy game. Big Brother has arrived and it's you. Investigate the lives of citizens to find those responsible for a series of terror attacks. Information from the internet, personal communications, and private files are all accessible to you, but be warned, the information you supply will have consequences. It's a dystopian game, has a 77 on Metacritic, which is a pretty good score for a lower tier game like this. You know, a lower key game like this. It's not like there's a lot of hype surrounding it. And it looks like a pretty interesting game. Orwell itself is a new governmental security program that has the power to survey the online presence of every person in the nation. It can monitor all personal communications and access any computer. To preserve the privacy of citizens, human researchers examine the data Orwell finds and decide which pieces of information should be passed on to the security forces and which should be rejected. So you have some hints of realism and a realistic future there as well that could bug some people out. Again, the game is absolutely free right now. Typically goes for $9.99, but have a look at it over at the Humble store. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Moving on from that, Steam has got some awesome game deals. Particularly, they are running a Spike Chunsoft sale. Spike Chunsoft is a Japanese studio, and a lot of their games are pretty zany, and they're not going to be for everyone, but I did want to give a couple mentions. The Danganronpa games, I have talked so highly about those titles. They are such good games. If you are even remotely into a good story-driven thriller, that is exactly what you're going to find with Danganronpa. It is such a hard game to explain, so I'm not even going to attempt in doing that, but if you can get past the more zany Japanese look, you are going to find an absolutely incredible story here. With all three of the games, all three of them are discounted. Danganronpa 1 is 60% off for $7.99. Same case goes for Danganronpa 2, and I believe those are new lows for those games. I believe typically they would be 40% off during a Steam sale, but now a little bit cheaper. $7.99 is such a good price for those games. Alternatively, you can get the Danganronpa 1 and 2 bundle, 64% off, $14.38, so you'll save a little bit of extra, and I think that's absolutely worth it. Both of those games are incredible. And if you want to go all in, Danganronpa 3 is also on sale, 50% off for $30, and you can get the bundle that includes all three of the games, 59% off, $41.37. I'm telling you guys, those games are absolutely worth it. They look a little weird on the surface. I personally wasn't sold on it myself until I listened to a podcast and the hosts were just raving about the game, and then I was like, alright, let me just give this game a look for myself, and I was so pleased with the title. Overwhelmingly positive reception on Steam is pretty hard to come by, and Danganronpa 1 has that based on 4,400 user reviews. Let's take a look at Danganronpa 2. That's overwhelmingly positive as well all time. And Danganronpa 3 is sitting at very positive at 85% positive, so a little bit lesser so than the first two titles. I thought Danganronpa 3 was a great game as well. But all of those are on sale. On top of that, the Zero Escape games are on sale. Those games are excellent as well. Zero Escape, the known area games, is 40% off for $26.99, and Zero Time Dilemma is 50% off for $19.99. And we've got Steins Gate on sale. Steins Gate 0, the anime, is running right now. Steins Gate 1, 60% off, $11.99. Steins Gate 0, 33% off for $23.44. So I wanted to give a shout out to those games because I know I'm one of the few people that covers games like this, and I want them to have more recognition because they are very good games. Especially if you're already into Japanese games, well then you've already got one foot in the door, and then these games become so accessible. Whereas if you're the kind of gamer that only plays Western games, I can understand why you would be off-put by a game like Danganronpa. I completely understand. The game's look is so different, and it does have those Japanese tropes that are just gonna turn some people off. And if it does turn you off, by all means, I get that. Don't check out these games. Next up on Fanatical, this is another great game deal, and all of you Western gamers that I just mentioned, this is gonna be a lot more up your alley. Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus, 67% off for just $19.99. This is a best ever price for the game. Wolfenstein 2 is a really good game. It seems like some people weren't all too pleased by it. I thought it was pretty good. There were some annoying levels, but overall, if you enjoyed Wolfenstein the New Order, Wolfenstein 2 the New Colossus is gonna build upon that, and I think it's a better game than the New Order. Pretty cool story, a lengthy campaign considering it is single player only, it kind of needs to be, but you do get a 10 to 12 hour campaign in there. And for $19.99, I would say that this is a very good deal. And especially on PC, this is a very visually pleasing game, so definitely give that a look. I think that's a great price. And that is only going to be available for the next 42 hours as of recording this video, so make sure you have a look at that ASAP. They still have a reasonable amount of stock left, but I would grab that as soon as possible if you're interested. So those are the great PC game deals available right now. I'm a big fan of a lot of the titles as a part of the Spike Chunsoft sale. A lot of titles over there for you guys to take advantage of, and some great deals on those as well. I'll always drive the Danganronpa train home. And if you guys are annoyed by that, well, I got nothing to say. Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus, however, for all you Western gamers and for those of you that like your action shooters, there you go. $19.99 for that game is quite good. Moving on from that, let's talk a little bit about Battlefield 5 and how it might not be doing all too well. It looks like the Battlefield 5 pre-order numbers have actually been rather weak, and it might fall victim to the same thing that Titanfall 2 fell victim to, in that it's released in a time where a lot of other big games are released, and this is the title that really falls to the wayside. Now, Battlefield 5 being that game that falls to the wayside is kind of shocking to me. You would think that Battlefield is one of those franchises that's transcended falling victim to things like that, but I guess not when you have games like Red Dead Redemption 2, Fallout 76, and Call of Duty Black Ops 4 releasing all around the same time. I know there are some people that like to argue that Battlefield is a bigger franchise than Call of Duty. Like, you're absolutely crazy if you think that. Maybe in the PC scope you can argue that, but in terms of mainstream attraction and mainstream appeal, Call of Duty is so much bigger than Battlefield, and you just have to accept that. And the fact that Call of Duty is having Battle Royale from the get-go, I know I'm not a big fan of the Battle Royale mode, I know not a lot of you guys are, but this year Black Ops 4 is without a doubt going to be a bigger game than Battlefield 5, and I'm pretty sure Call of Duty has been a bigger game than every EA first-person shooter since Call of Duty really blew up. So that debate I'll just leave for another time, but you get the idea on that. And of course, with Red Dead Redemption 2 releasing just a week after Battlefield 5, Red Dead Redemption 2 is just gonna kill every other game, so I can see why the anticipation for Battlefield 5 is a little low. On top of that, I thought the E3 promotion for this game was absolutely atrocious. This game has been marketed so horribly. Going back from the beginning, I'm not even going to go into the historically accurate thing because that doesn't really pertain to me, but going back to E3, it was so easy to deliver the message of that game home to fans. All you had to do is show us a lengthy multiplayer gameplay demo, and what did we get? We got a cinematic trailer for the single player mode or something like that, and then EA went right around to showcase games like Unravel 2 and Command & Conquer on mobile. No disrespect to Unravel 2, but Battlefield is the game that deserved the spotlight on that stage, and it was a shame that it was shortchanged on the biggest platform of the year. I really did think that did some damage to the game. In terms of overall hype, I just don't think the marketing for this game has been on point, and then when you couple the fact that, yeah, there are so many big games releasing around the same time, and when you add in the fact that people are just sick of EA, even with the fact that this game is gonna have some free DLC, this is all just a concoction for this game to be one of the worst commercially received Battlefield games in a very long time, and that is unfortunate, but EA kind of dug themselves into this hole. I'm still gonna be checking out the game. It's Battlefield at the end of the day, and the gameplay that I have seen has looked rather good. It's just that I don't think they've promoted this game in the right way that they needed to. So yeah, there's my 2 cents on that, but commercially this game might not do all too well. However, on PC, all you need to do is be a subscriber to Origin Access Premier, $15 a month or $100 a year, and you get access to every EA game. So really, getting EA games is not going to be too big of a deal. I'm going to sign up for the $100 plan because I planned on checking out Battlefield 5 and Anthem anyway, and to get games like Madden 19 and every other EA game as well, that seems like a pretty good deal to me. And lastly, moving on from that, I do want to give a shout to Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. This has been a game that's been in development for so long. I think I mentioned Mount & Blade 2 when I did my most anticipated games of 2015 or 2016 video, to give you guys an idea of how long this game has been in development, and at this point, my anticipation for this title is waning. Who knows if this game will even be out before I'm dead, but they did post a blog post saying that this game will be at Gamescom in a big way. And specifically, they noted that guests at our booth are invited to experience a hands-on demo of Bennett Lords' single-player sandbox campaign. They will be able to choose from a selection of pre-made characters before being dropped into the sandbox and left to do pretty much whatever they like. At this point, some of you might be thinking, what do you mean pre-made characters? Well, our response to that is don't panic. Banner Lord features a deep character creation system, and we want our guests to experience different parts of the sandbox in extremely limited amount of time that they will have to play the game. We made this decision to skip the character creation process to ensure that guests didn't spend their 30 minutes time slot perfecting their avatar. So that's pretty good reasoning. I still have anticipation for Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. I mean, how can you not if you played the previous games? It's just that this happens with a lot of these PC exclusive games. We've seen it with Star Citizen, and we've seen it with so many other titles that they are in development for so long, and they are announced so early that it's almost like, why are you even announcing the game at that point? But I do get that they're getting input from fans. But still, when a game is announced for over 3 years, at some point my hype cannot be sustained for that game. And at this point, I have pretty much dejected myself from Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. When the game does release, I'll be super into it. I'm sure I'll play it, but at this point, I'm not just gonna be waiting and just keep reading up on the game and wondering when it's gonna come out. I'm not about that. There are too many other games to play, and when Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord does drop, I'll give it a look. So that's gonna conclude this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Again, a free game available at Humble, looks pretty interesting. Orwell typically goes for $9.99, and it's a super easy game to run, so add it to your library, take advantage of that. Spike Chunsoft has got a great sale over on Steam right now. They've got the Danganronpa games discounted, Zero Escape, Steins Gate, a lot of good stuff there, so take advantage of that. Wolfenstein 2 has also got a good deal on Fanatical, best price ever, $19.99. That is awesome. It looks like Battlefield 5 might not do all too well commercially, so that's kind of disappointing, but that is kind of to be expected with how the game's been promoting all the other games coming around the same time. I'm not all too surprised. And Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord is getting a single-player campaign demo at Gamescom, so hopefully some footage of that is uploaded online when Gamescom does roll. That's gonna wrap up this video. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.